Hang tight, guys. As usual, more technical difficulties. Hey, what's going on, Keith? Sorry, my holder is acting up here, so you bear with me. Hey, what's going on, Sarah? You guys, hang tight. I gotta fix something real quick. I'll be unacceptable. I'll be right back. All right. Ooh. I heard not-for-profits make a lot of money. I turned it out to be endeavored in a program that's not of profit. It turns out there's a big difference. Whew, what's going on, everybody? We're gonna give everybody a few more minutes to jump on here as usual. It's a little warm out today, so we're gonna see how that turns out. But hopefully it's not too bad. Crank up the visibility. Visibility is wide open. Okay. Yeah. Whew. It's been a long week. Trying out this new coffee. Steamy over in Birmingham. Yeah, it's kind of muggy around here too. It rained last night. What's going on, Dwayne? Dwayne was jumping all over them all over them alligators in the comment section of that last video. He was giving it to him. So I typically wait till about the 5-minute mark, so we'll get there. They're still doing renovations next door. I think it would have been faster if they just would have tore the house down and started over. We moved in. There was a guy who was living there, and we moved in right about September. And I'm gonna take full credit for this, by the way. So we moved in September. Who was that? Morning, Sarah. Roll Tide, girl. He's a Gators fan. After one season of hearing me holler and scream, jump up and down, and every time the Dogs would score a touchdown, especially when they was playing Florida, I'd run out the door and yell, "Touchdown, Georgia!" He moved. He had to go, man. He couldn't take it. Whew, man. So ever since then, they've been tearing that out. You going to a Braves game today, brother? Man, I hope it don't rain on y'all. Well, y'all will probably be under the overhang. Y'all will be good. Vortex, I haven't been there yet. Is that skydiving place? There you go. Who all's going? Is it all of y'all? Oh, Burger Place. I haven't tried it. I'll check that out. Po' Boys Barbecue, good stuff. Yeah, Po' Boys is good. If you guys ever get a chance, you're down in South Carolina, go to Red's Ice House. That place is amazing. Yeah, I got some shake in this thing here. Let me see if I can fix that. Make an adjustment. Whew. All right, I guess we're about 6 minutes in. That's giving everybody a few minutes to jump on here. I think some of the other commentators, they go 10 minutes or whatever. I don't like to keep everybody waiting that long. We end up usually going an hour anyway. So, how's everybody Saturday? Everybody doing good? Thinking about smoking a Boston butt today? Ain't nothing wrong with that. When I smoke ours, we use, I got a side box smoker that we use, and I use cherry and mesquite. Roll that bad boy in there. Keep it on about 200 to 215 for as long as I can, which is basically right about the time I go to bed. And then I got my little Wolverine claws. I got heaven on a plate. So, well, anyway, I don't know if you guys saw, but some genius posted an article talking about how brace yourselves now. I know some of y'all ain't Georgia fans, but y'all got to admit this is ridiculous. A Penn State. Uh-oh, the big boss walked in. Hold on. Let me see if she's gonna throw anything at me. She's got eggs, y'all. I'm hoping. Oh, she's making breakfast. I might get some eggs with cheese on them today. She just gave me a dirty look. I guess not. Love you. All right, so anyway, brace yourselves. Out of all the universities out there, guess which one is the newest one trying to call themselves Running Back U? Any guesses? How about this? Penn State. Oh, what's going on, Jay? Penn State. They was bragging. They had a running back last year on 45 carries. Ran the ball 250 yards. Oh, man. That's fine, yeah. 250 yards. What y'all think about that? Running back U. I believe Rodrigo Blankenship could run 250 yards if we handed him the ball 45 times. Oh. You cover that Boston butt in ground cinnamon, garlic powder, black pepper, and smoke with hickory and charcoal. I have to try it. What? 45 carries, 250 yards. By the way, that's an average of like 4.1, 4.2 yards a carry. By that belief system, half the schools in the SEC, probably more than half the schools in the SEC are running back U. Hell, that makes Clemson running back U. That makes Oklahoma running back U. What are y'all talking about? Oh my Lord. I saw that and about fell out of my chair. First of all, I saw it and it was from supposedly I saw she threw that cinnamon keeps the meat moist in there, and all I could think about is barbecue. Lord. Sarah got me all off my game. What's going on, Sea-Dog? They wanted to talk about how they were, they have one decent running back, all of a sudden they're running back U. Listen, I ain't scared to tell y'all that, how about them dogs, Drew? I'm not scared to tell y'all that I absolutely agree that LSU is DBU. No doubt in my mind. I'd even say you could argue that Penn State was linebacker U. But there's a whole lot of teams that I would consider to be running back U if Georgia's not in the equation way before Penn State. I mean, good night. I saw that, and it was supposedly a site that was reputable. I mean, it was put together. It had the banners and the commercials, and I read that stuff, and it started out, the column was kind of making a little bit of sense. I said, okay, let me keep reading into this. And I got about halfway into the article, and then they started posting the stats. I couldn't look at it. And I said, wait a minute, 45 carries and 250 something yards? Right, is Alabama or Clemson championship U? The argument could be made. So, Penn State running back, I can't even say it. Running back U. My goodness. Saquon Barkley was a beast, but who else? Supposedly they got some other new guy that's supposed to be a 5-star recruit or something, but he ain't done nothing. You could take any running back at University of Georgia, any running back, and if you make them the feature back at UGA, they're going to run for way more than 250 yards. If our feature back ran for 250 yards, you would see me standing at the front gate of Sanford Stadium screaming at the athletic department to fire the offensive coordinator and to suspend Kirby Smart until they hired somebody who knew how to run the dad-blame ball again. That's ridiculous, 250 yards. My gosh. So, oh, by the way, guys, I know there's not a ton of people in here right now, but do me a favor if you would. Share this video on Facebook, on Twitter. If you appreciate the commentary, or you think it's funny, or you have a good time hanging out with all the other people in the channel. If you like poking fun at me, whatever makes your Saturday better, you enjoy spending time with the rest of us, share this if you would. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever other new app, program, whatever they got rolling around out there, share it on that. I'm trying to get to 2,000 subscribers by the beginning of the season. This has been an amazing adventure for me. I started out doing this just honestly for myself. I just and rag on people a little bit, but I mean, it ended up really kind of. Always very surprised and very humbled at how many people watch this every time I put something out. The last video I made, hats off to Uncle Lou. I wanted to do a little skit at the beginning, and with it being the 4th of July and fireworks and all that stuff, I wanted to reference one of his super fans, and he was kind enough to let me do that. So thank you very much, Uncle Lou, for that. You guys enjoy some good, funny commentary. I think most of you guys are probably subscribed. He's actually an awesome guy. If you guys will check his stuff out, it's pretty funny. He's a reason why I kind of got into it. So great guy. Enjoy his stuff. If you want some, if my stuff's not enough for you, go check him out. If his stuff's not enough for you, come back. So I enjoyed making that video. The reference in the beginning was the University of Florida fan, Natty Back Steve, and just in my mind, he sells fireworks in Florida. So I talked him into making a delivery, so he stopped by the house. One of the things I'm thinking about putting together is after the game, I'm gonna see if I can find a way to kind of capture the game footage, and then I'm want to do kind of a live stream the next day and kind of do not necessarily a film breakdown, but just kind of an analysis as it goes. I think film study a lot of times goes too far for fans, especially, I won't say casual fans, but maybe novice to moderate fans. I think the film study just goes way too deep for some people, because when you start talking about 3-4 3-4 defense, 4-3 defense, nickel backs, dime, quarters, slots, receivers. You know, some people get some of that, but they rarely get it all. Does Natty Back Steve have any fireworks? Of course he does, man. He's got a fireworks stand in Florida. Yeah, I mean, he's got Whisker Doos, Husker Don'ts, Black Kitties with or without the scooter stick. He's got them all. So, Pine Sol Lemon Scent. What's going on, buddy? I don't know how, but one of your videos popped up in my playlist, and I watched it and subscribed. So, since I've gained quite a bit of subscribers, at least in my opinion, 1,500 is far more than I ever thought I would get. I'll be honest with you. And so now it's just a matter of how many can I get. I enjoy putting the content out. I enjoy interacting with the fans. At some point, I'm gonna get to hopefully right on 75. I ain't too far off 75. Just the snakes and the sparkle. I just like snakes and sparkle. Well, you can't sell what you like. You got to sell what everybody likes. So anyway, he's going to show you fireworks on November 2nd. Yes, sir. Yeah, he is. If they can get enough players together to get on the field. Joe Dirt. Yeah, somebody picked up on it. Brett, you do a good job representing UGA. You make it fun for football fans. I'm glad that you guys are entertained. I do my best to try to bring some humor to it without getting too mean about it. Sometimes I have to pump the brakes because I don't want to say something that's going to really offend somebody. Kicking wing is a UGA. You watch somebody's going to change their YouTube name to that next week. What's going on, Artie? At some point, hopefully, I'll get to enough fans to where you guys are scrolling through the feed so fast I can't read them all. But I do enjoy the ability to get on here and have a conversation with you guys and kind of interact as we go. One of the really interesting things to me is that there is so much that's involved with building a YouTube channel. It's not just fill out some information, throw your camera up, and just start recording. There's really quite a bit to it. Thanks, Sea-Dog. I'm going to try. I think that a lot of people don't know how much goes into it. What's nice is that I can see both sides of it now because I can see the videos that other creators put out. I watch their videos, and I can really see how much work goes into it. I never saw that before. I just thought it was, that's kind of a decent production there. That was nice, when I saw a video I liked, and I hit a thumbs up, and then I got to doing this, and oh my goodness, I've tried numerous different types of software on the computer to edit videos. I've tried different microphones. I've tried different lighting, different camera holders, different setups. I've tried so many different things, and I've only scratched the surface. Have you heard of Volunteer Roadshow lately? Have I heard from him? No, I haven't heard from him, but that guy's super busy. Not only does he run his own show, but he's also an over-the-road truck driver, man. That guy's crazy busy, and he's got one of the legends from Tennessee that is on his show regularly. He has great content. If you like a different perspective from things, watch his channel. He's a really awesome guy too. He's helped me a lot. So if you enjoy that kind of thing, you can get into that. So check him out. He's a great guy. Looking at some of the stuff that's come along here over the past couple of weeks, we're really only about 30 days away from college football season. And one of the games I want to talk about is the game with the opener against Florida and Miami. And since I've done that video about Florida, I think that game against Miami is going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting. I didn't know before I made that video that they had lost all 4 of their offensive linemen. I didn't know that. And so the more I looked into it and the more I found out, I was like, wow, they don't have any offensive linemen with any kind of experience. How's that going to play out? Their very first game is going to be a test. And after looking at it, I can absolutely see that if Miami is able to get out in front and then hang on, they can win that game. They can. If Manny Diaz comes out with a really good game plan, it's possible. It's possible that they can win that game. Now, is it guaranteed? No. I think that the depth chart at Florida is better talent-wise than than Miami. Will I be doing predictions? Yeah, I'll be doing prediction videos. The week before the games, I typically do a prediction video. I usually do a top 25 that week. The offensive line has 77 games under its belt. That's why I told you to read in readingreaction.com. I'll have to look into that because all the data that I could find, it was only like 16 games total. So I'll double check, man. But I mean, even with 77 games, none of them, I don't think they started a whole lot of those, did they? I'll have to double check. I'll have to look into it. But anyway, that's a lot of inexperience at that offensive line position. Gator fans getting drunk off swamp water. That's possible too. I think a lot is going to hinge on that offensive line at Florida. If Miami can come out and get that lead early, which is absolutely a possibility, I don't know that Florida has Miami circled on that calendar the way that Miami has Florida circled. My wife in the feed says my bacon is ready. That's an awesome woman right there. Thanks, dear. Got to hop off. Have a good one. Have fun at the game, guys. Thanks, Keith. No, just Stone Forsyth, Brett Higgy, and Nick Buchanan. Not just Stone Forsyth. So, Artie's making me dig further into rosters than I want to, than I really want to. But that's one of the benefits of having a YouTube channel. Keith, by the way, is on every weekend. I really appreciate him being on. Yeah, Artie's forcing me to dig further into stats than I really want to. But one of the benefits of having a YouTube channel and having fans that are objective like Artie is that he's going to challenge everything. If it's not what he knows, if he knows it's wrong, he's gonna say, hey, dude, that's not right. And it's going to give me an opportunity to go out there and improve the amount of information and knowledge I have. So I think there's a lot of channels. No, dude, I appreciate it. It forces me to learn about the teams. It forces me to learn more about these players. I didn't know that the center that they had, Nick Buchanan, was as good as he is. The guy's an excellent player. And I wouldn't have known that if Artie hadn't have said, hey, dude, you're way off base on this. So I had to go check it out. So looking at the other teams around the league has forced me to learn a lot about college football, a lot of stuff I didn't know, a lot of stuff about recruiting. It's made me a better fan, and it's given me an opportunity to provide some better perspective on the game previews that I put out, the information that I put out for you guys. I know a lot of you guys are not casual fans. A lot of you guys are pretty serious fans, which is wonderful. And the fact that there's really, really in tune, knowledgeable fans in my channel makes me feel good, because I know that they at least think that I'm somewhat in that category, or they'd say, that guy's an idiot, I'm not listening to him. So I appreciate you guys letting me give me an opportunity to fix what's going on. You've missed about 25 minutes, Colby. Normally I don't do much the first 5 or 6 minutes, so you've missed about 20 minutes. Some general commentary about smoking a Boston butt, the fact that Penn State thinks they're running back you. They have a player who only has 25 carries and 250 yards. 45 carries, 250 yards. If it was 25 carries, 250 yards, that'd be awesome, but that didn't happen. And me basically razzing the fire out of Penn State because they think that they're running back you, and by their stretch of the imagination, that would make every team in the SEC, with probably the exception of Arkansas, running back you. The fact that I think the Honest Abe says hit that like button. Honest Gabe. I do that every time I read his name. I always say Honest Abe. Penn State. Lord have mercy. They had Saquon Barkley, and I think they had one good running back, and then now they think that they're running back you, and it's like, you may be running back you for that conference, but no, I don't think so. I also brought up the fact that I think that even the fifth string kicker at Georgia, if you put him in there and handed him the ball 45 times, would get 250 yards. I just do. So I don't think that makes you running back you. And somebody brought up the fact that if that's the case, if that's the way that you justify things, does that make Alabama and Clemson national championship you? So that's pretty much what you've missed. That and me talking about, I'm trying to get to 2,000 subscribers, so hit the thumbs up, like, share, send it to your friends, that sort of thing. So we're looking at an additional about 480. Had a guy on Twitter trying to convince you that Miami was running back you. Yeah, running back to Clemson to get their hind end spanked. That's the only running back they got. I think at about 450, we got about, geez, dude. I'm with you, Sarah. Thank you for sharing those, Colby. I really appreciate it. I think that I think the first game is what, August. As we get closer, I'm gonna start making some more videos. I'll put out some more stuff. Top 25. The preseason right before season starts. Hold on a second. So I just got a text message from we're currently we're in the process of buying a house. The house we live in now, we moved from South Carolina to here, so we rented a house for a year so we could buy a house here. So the house we're in, the dishwasher went bad, and we called the landlord and we was like, hey, dishwasher went bad, what do you want to do? And so she ordered one from Lowe's, and so it shows up, and they were supposed to put it in. Well, they didn't. They just dropped it off and left. They were supposed to take the old one, which obviously they couldn't because they didn't swap them out, and it's on the paperwork and everything she's got. Well, we said, hey, they just left this dishwasher here. And she, of course, apologized. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll call Lowe's. But she called Lowe's, and Lowe's was like, yeah, we can't be out there for like the next 3 or 4 days. And so she called me. She's like, I don't know what to do. I said, don't worry about it. I've installed plenty of dishwashers. Not a big deal. I'll take care of it. I had to run to Lowe's, get an adapter. Fixed it. Dishwasher's working great. Lowe's was supposed to come pick up the old one because the normal garbage won't. So I said, well, don't worry about it. I'll set it out by the curb. She said, well, Lowe's said they'll come pick it up Saturday. That was on Tuesday. So I just got a text message from her. Lowe's is at her house trying to pick up the dishwasher that's over here. Whew, Lowe's on the street, man. Must be a Florida fan. That or Natty Back Steve is working at Lowe's. I'm not sure which. So, that got me all off track. Right before the season starts, I'm going to be doing the top 25 videos. I'm going to be doing top 10s, first week game predictions. I try to do game predictions every week to give you guys, kind of the breakdown. And usually I've started doing the after game. For those of you that are new, I typically do a halftime whenever the Dogs are on, and then I'll do a fan reaction video at the end. I do them live. That way you guys kind of see my real assessment as to how I feel about what's going on. Yo, happy day, Bulldogs. What's up, Jermaine? So once we get closer to there, you're going to see more content coming out. And to be honest with you, it's really difficult to come up with interesting things to keep people, kind of excited about what's going on in the off season. And now we're getting closer to the end of off season, so there's less and less kind of stuff to latch on to. You get some commitment stuff in the middle and some recruiting stuff you can talk about. Summer camp starting, there's always somebody at some school getting arrested or kicked off a team or flipped or something, and so that stuff's kind of interesting. But the closer that you get to the beginning of the season, it kind of starts taking a downturn. So getting ready to hit the highway, headed to Texas. Well, if you see one of them Longhorns in the road, you know what to do. August is quickly approaching, and I am about excited for it. There's a part of my soul that is down in my shoes right now that is kind of like, what? Football? What? And it's starting to climb up. And the closer that we get to football season, the more excited I'm going to be. And you guys will see that progress. I get pretty amped up. Now, somebody asked a question of, will Georgia be in the college football playoff? So that's a tough question to answer. You guys, if you guys that are subscribed, Uncle Lou says he's got his show will be on in 30 minutes. So, yep. I don't know what the crystal ball is on 24/7, but just got a crystal ball 5-star Kendall Milton, 5-star Eric Gilbert, and 5-star Kyler Ringo. If that happens, that'll be phenomenal. Love to see that happen. I'm about 99% sure that Eric Gilbert's going to come to UGA. The rest I don't know about. But Kendall Milton has continued to whittle down his list of teams he's interested in, and it keeps leaning towards Georgia. I think Alabama's in the mix, so you can't count them out, but we'll see what happens. As far as Georgia being in the playoffs, I think this year in particular, and Artie's gonna throw a flag on the field here almost immediately. I think Georgia is kind of like Clemson in the ACC. I don't think there's many teams that can compete with them right now in that particular conference on our side of the fence, which is probably going to mean that we're going to end up playing against Alabama again for the SEC championship. Once that happens, all bets are off. Now, Georgia the past couple of years has done a really good job of handling the starting quarterback for Alabama. They don't have another quarterback to switch to. Alabama fans are going to say that's because Tua was injured. Injuries are a part of college football. I mean, it just is what it is. So I think this is probably Georgia's best year at being able to beat Alabama. But I'm not going to sit here and trash talk Alabama, because every time I've done that, we've lost. Now, we haven't lost by a landslide, but we have lost. And I think that everybody would agree, anybody who's objective at least. I heard we might have to play Bama next year in a regular season. I think all those games are already planned out. If that's in there, I missed it. I could be wrong, though. I think anybody who's objective will tell you that UGA on the course that it's on now and Alabama on the course that it's on now, it's hard to predict who's going to win that game. So we'll see what happens. If Georgia can beat Alabama, whoever we play next in the championship game, I don't really see a whole lot of trouble with that team. The next thing that I think is that if Clemson ends up in the playoffs and we end up playing Clemson, it's going to come down to how big of a change has the offense made to be able to make the long pass with Jake Fromm at the helm, and how much has Jake Fromm grown. Now, there's a lot of people out there that's saying Jake Fromm is a Heisman Trophy candidate. I'd pump the brakes on that a little bit. I mean, I'm all for a Georgia guy getting the Heisman. I really am. I think there's some years in the past where guys like Todd Gurley and Nick Chubb kind of got overlooked and shouldn't have for the Heisman Trophy. But Jake Fromm, great quarterback. Heisman Trophy, I don't know about that. That's tough. All right, I missed some stuff here. On our RB, we know that what Swift can do, and I'm really anxious to see Zamir White. They say Zamir White is fully healthy. I'm interested in him. By the way, DeJuan Mathis has been cleared of his injury, so he's good to play full contact. Jermaine, if you're going I-20 through Alabama, look up AL.com for an alternative route. Part of I-20 is closed until January. Hey, Jake Fromm for Heisman, dude. Hey, listen, you won't find a bigger fan. You will not find a bigger fan. If I had the money, I'd be at every Georgia game, home and away. I'd be on the board of trustees. I'd coach for the team if they'd let me. I'd be the water boy, the towel boy, if they'd let me. I'm that big of a fan. But I just don't see, from what I've seen from Jake Fromm right now, Heisman Trophy, I think that's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough. So I think Georgia, so this comment's for Dwayne. So Georgia in every game we've played has led Alabama except for 9 minutes of those games. Now think about that. The last 2 games we've played, one was a national championship, one was an SEC championship. We've led for all but 9 minutes. And that was because we didn't finish those games. So we know that we have the ability to put the points on the board, but we've got to be able to finish. And it's razor thin. If you think about this, Tua makes a bad throw on one play. Guy runs the route slightly wrong on that same play. Guy drops the ball on that play. Georgia knocks that ball down on that play, and that's a national championship for Georgia. Everything had to go right on that play for them to win. If you go back to whenever Georgia, last year, the SEC championship, whenever Tua had to come out and Jalen went in, if they hadn't had Jalen Hurts, they wouldn't have won that game either. So you're really talking about a lot of things that's got to go in the right direction for those games to be wins. They weren't landslides. It is what it is. Jalen Hurts is hoping and praying for a Heisman. I think Jalen Hurts' biggest hurdle is that he's played for Alabama and couldn't get a Heisman Trophy then. And so now he's going to kind of get looked over almost like he's not fresh, young, new blood anymore. I think that there's going to be a lot of people that look at him and go, yeah, he's not Trevor Lawrence. And that's really who they're going to compare him to. Will Oklahoma go to the playoffs? I think so. I think Oklahoma will be in again. I don't think that Texas is going to be able to hold up to them. I think Texas came in and played lights out against Georgia. Georgia showed up and didn't care. And then so now they think that they're back. By the way, if there's any Texas fans in here, Georgia still got a better record than y'all last year. What about UCF? UCF is never going to get the credit that it deserves. And this isn't me hating on UCF. I'm all for apparently my wife is still in the channel. UCF is never going to get the credit it deserves until it joins a major conference. So UCF is going to have to join the ACC. At this point, you could probably kick a couple of teams out of the SEC and take UCF. I would even say they need to go play in the, I don't know, Big Ten or something. Alabama stacked on QBs again. It will be interesting. Being stacked on QBs is a good thing. It helps. But we're talking about the Dogs. We ain't talking about Arkansas. So, what's going on, OG Fran? I ain't seen you in the channel in a hot minute. Where you been? Man, it is hot out here. I ain't gonna lie. I put ice in my coffee to cool it down because I didn't want to get too hot. I got the fan going. It's hot. I'm just glad the sun's not out super bright right now. Ooh, man. So anyway, when it comes down to this coming up season, you don't get notifications for your channel for some reason. Have you? There's a bell over there. You have, just because you're subscribed doesn't make the notification goes off. So if you guys are in the channel and you want to jump on the live stream, make sure you click the bell, and that's what allows it to send notifications to your phone. Would I rather have UCF or Arkansas in the SEC? What I would like to see is I'd like to see Arkansas fix itself. That's what I would like to see. I'd rather have Arkansas, honestly, but I would like to have Arkansas fix itself. Yeah, Sarah's right. Arkansas used to be a really good football team. They used to line up and run it down your throat. I always click it when I subscribe. Well, I guess just try unclicking that bell and re-clicking it. Maybe it glitched the first time you did it. Arkansas used to be a really good football team. You used to hear pig suey all over the place. You don't hear that no more. What are y'all doing with the roads out there, man? Listen, you could boil spaghetti and throw it into a bowl, and every freaking strand in there would be straighter than any road in Arkansas. I mean, when you talk about the path of least resistance, it takes you 15 minutes to go 4 miles. Those roads curve like you wouldn't believe. It's terrible. And it's not like they have mountains there. I mean, it's hilly, but good night. What's up, Uncle Luke? Is Texas A&M going to be good? This year, good, yes. Great, I don't know. What do I think about Carson Beck coming in 2020? So Carson Beck started out. Let me finish A&M and I'll come back to Carson Beck. So A&M, Jimbo Fisher out there is doing a really good job. He's recruiting right. He's recruiting well, and he's able to come up with an offensive play scheme that will put points on the board. He done a really good job of playing LSU really, really tight last year. They showed a tremendous amount of heart. Those guys, both teams played their tails off. I think the final score ended up being something like 76-72 or 78-72, like triple or quadruple overtime. Just unbelievable performance. And I don't believe you can do that if you don't have players that are bought in, if you don't have players that believe in their coaches, because a lot of teams would have given up at that point. A lot of lesser teams would have folded up shop and went home. Those guys played their tails off. Arkansas got football mixed up with cookout, and they've been barbecues. LSU getting revenge on Texas A&M, and that's possible. Somebody had a comment here. I wanted to make sure I covered it. What was it? Carson Beck. That's what it was. So, Bald Bigfoot says, what do I think about Carson Beck? Carson Beck is a quarterback that was recruited for UGA that originally started out as a 3-star player. That 3-star player has kind of progressed into a 4-star. And I think the guy is really more talented than what you see. DeJuan Mathis is incredible, and Carson Beck is incredible. Those guys are going to have a wonderful quarterback ahead of them to coach them, to practice with them, to teach them, for them to get experience under. And then those guys are going to have to battle it out for the starting job. Do I believe Carson Beck could win it? Yes, it's possible. Hey, Uncle Lou. Where's Uncle Lou at? I didn't see him. I seen Uncle Luke. I think LSU will beat Texas. LSU should beat Texas. We'll see what happens. I think it's a good matchup. LSU has some really fast cornerbacks, and the passing game is kind of where Texas's strength lay. And that was one of the things they abused George on. Oh, LSU should be able to beat Texas A&M. They're just a little deeper. Texas is not back. Don't worry about that. At least that's my opinion. As far as somebody brought up FSU. So I don't know if we'll get that 5-star dual threat quarterback. And if we do, I don't know that it matches our program. 74-72. Thanks, Uncle Luke. That was definitely one of the best football games I've ever watched that my team wasn't in. I watched that game. Like, I tuned in, I think the last quarter of that game, and it was just back and forth. It was brutal, and it was a good game. FSU, their head coach is Willie Taggart. Willie Taggart, I think last year they went 5-7. You know, they're trying to say that they're back, and it's like, oh my goodness, dude. There's so many teams that are saying they're back. It's like watching a Backstreet Boys concert. Yeah. And then what you're going to find out is it's going to end up being like NSYNC. You're going to see all of them going bye, bye, bye. Watch the whole game. If LSU played on the road like they do at home, they could be in the playoffs. I agree. So some Florida fan jumped on the video and was talking about, last time we were in Death Valley, we won. If there's a Florida fan on this channel, and then suddenly Brett didn't have breakfast. What are you talking about, woman? McDonald's is open. I may have to go get breakfast from McDonald's. I need my readers fighting off upper respiratory infection. It's like throwing like looking through a film of Vaseline. That's okay, Sarah. Makes me look better. This is not something you want to see in HD. You're good. Heard FSU is so bad in financial problems they can't afford to pay Willie out. They probably can't. You can't pay for all the seafood that those players steal. and buy out a coach. It just doesn't work out that way. Is Nebraska going to be great? No, and they never will again. I hate Nebraska. Hate them. Sorry, I just do. I've had to be around so many freaking Nebraska fans that had their heads stuck. Let me put it to you this way. It's amazing I'm not in jail right now. And let me explain why. There's two reasons. Number one, my wife, before she met me, now she's a Dogs fan, but she's always been a Texas fan. She was a Texas fan when I met her, and I converted her. That's the only way I would marry her. And she had Texas stickers on her Jeep at the time and had our two kids in the car. And she got pulled over by a state trooper in Nebraska, a state trooper, because she had Longhorn stickers in her solar band at the top. James Winston got caught stealing seafood, didn't he? Free crab, was it Free Seafood University? That's what they call them down there. You can look it up. So they had that solar band across the top. Nebraska, listen, all right, Luke. Yes, they sell out that stadium, but do you know why? I'll tell you why. Because Nebraska has 80,000 square miles of corn, and it's all in one field, and that stadium is the only other thing there. There's nothing else to do in Nebraska. Nothing. Lincoln, Nebraska is like the second largest city in the state. The largest city in the state is Omaha, Nebraska, and it only has like 400,000 people. So, since there's nothing else to do on Saturday, everybody drives there, not just to watch the game, but to see other people. Because when the corn's this high, you can't see anybody. That's why. They cook out, they tailgate, half the people over there can't tell you who the coach is. So anyway, let me back up. So the solar band at the top of your car, you can have that completely subdued, completely blacked out. She got pulled over twice by the same state trooper because she had these Texas stickers on her Jeep. She ended up having to, because he gave her a fix-it ticket. She had to go down to the sheriff's office in our hometown, and the sheriff come out and told her that there was nothing wrong with her stickers. That was completely fine. About a week later, she got pulled over by the same state trooper, and when he walked up to the window, she told him, she said, the sheriff in this town is already mad at you for pulling me over for this stuff in my solar band. He said it's completely legal. So if that's what you pulled me over for, you better go find somewhere else to be. And he turned around and walked off. What does that tell you? Now, the other reason was we were over at a family function where we were having a cookout. Now, downstairs, they had multiple TVs going. When I say multiple TVs, like 6. And the Georgia game was already on. Now they got TVs upstairs and they had TVs downstairs in the basement. I was down in the basement watching the Dogs on the TV, and it was contingent that if I go to this, because y'all know how I am, if I go to this, I'm watching the game. Otherwise, I'll stay myself at home. I'm not kidding. I'm serious. If you invite me to a barbecue, a get-together, a family function, your kid's birthday, wedding reception, your bar mitzvah, I don't care. You invite me to that crap, you better have the Dogs on. Because if they ain't, I ain't gonna be there. Sorry. That's how I roll. Don't schedule your kids' birthday parties. Don't schedule me to come visit you in hospice care. Don't schedule me to pick you up off the side of the road. All I can tell you is you better turn the game on the radio and listen to it, and then once that game's over, then you can call me. Or better yet, you better be subscribed, and then you can watch my show, and then once it's over, you can get in a live stream and tell me to come pick you up. But if the game's on, I'm sorry, I can't help you. That's the way I roll. So TV's on downstairs. I'm watching the Dogs. There's like 6 other TVs downstairs. There you go, Jay. I'm with you, buddy. And one of the family members comes down there and just picks up the damn remote, changes the channel. I looked at him like, it ain't halftime. What are you doing? I'm watching the Huskers. Okay. I walked upstairs. We had drove separate. I walked upstairs, told my wife, I said, I'm going home. She said, why? I said, because they changed station. I said, I ain't going to fuss and fight with you about the dogs. I'm going to go home and watch it on my TV. And I did. I went home. If you don't like that, I'm sorry for you. That's just how I get down. Somebody got pulled over. Hold on. Brother's trucker got pulled over in Louisiana by a Louisiana State trooper. He was wearing his Alabama watch. Cop asking to wait. Brother took it off, and the trooper took notice. Ohio State and Michigan State are probably going to be the toughest two in that conference, and depending on which one of those two wins that game is probably going to determine who's going to go to the playoffs. If they pull one out of that. If they lose a couple of games back and forth, if they cannibalize themselves, you probably won't see either one again. They just suck in the in the playoffs. I'm the same. I was supposed to go to an anniversary party, and I skipped it to watch college football all day. Sorry. Is Kentucky going to be good? No, they lost Benny Snell. They have nobody to fill his role. They don't have an offensive coordinator that can come up with a game plan to make them productive again. It's kind of a fluke here for them. They just had a really good player they could lean on. That player basically, they were able to use that player to destroy everybody else except quality teams, and those quality teams beat them. So, come to find out, Trooper was a Bama fan. My brother told him he had to remove his watch out of respect. Missed a wedding on the Alabama season opener. Folks got upset with me. Don't invite me. Listen, I put it out every year on Facebook. I put it out every year to anybody who knows me. Look, it is college football season. You've had however long to plan whatever it is you're planning. Don't be mad at me. I'm putting you on notice before you put me on notice, right? Before you tell me what your plans are, I'm telling you what my plans are. And my plans are, I'm watching the dogs. I'm watching college football. That's what I'm doing. You schedule your stuff in the middle of my stuff, that's like the beginning of your sentence interrupting the middle of mine. No. I'm not going to let the middle of my sentence interrupt the beginning of yours. That's what I meant to say. Don't invite me to that stuff. I'll show up after. I might show up before. But you got to understand, I'm going to go. You still got a ticket. Yeah. I live for my kids. I live for my wife. I live for my family. And I live for college football. If somebody's got some free reign, take advantage of that, but not the others going on. If you want to go fishing, as long as it ain't too hot and none of that other stuff's going on, hey, I'm cool. I've spent many a night sitting on a river bank or a lake bank with my wife fishing, and that's where I'd rather be. Because guess what? There ain't no football. Ain't no football on that I'm going to watch at 2 o'clock in the morning. Hope Kirby stays till he's 70s. Yep. King Kentucky said Kentucky was going to win the East. In basketball? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great basketball school. Love watching them play basketball. Is there a chance that A&M could stop Alabama from going to the SEC championship or even the playoffs? Is there a chance? Yeah. I'd have to say there's a chance, but that chance is more kind of like Auburn beating Alabama. Nobody expected that. Auburn had a couple of really good games back to back, and then after that, Georgia proved it was a fluke. And I think Alabama got a national championship anyway and ended up beating us for it. So, I mean, they have a chance, yes. Parents got mad at me that I didn't stop to go do this stuff. It's college football, people. You should have done this stuff during the offseason. College football only happens from August to January. And it only happens in a very short piece of January. So, yeah, I can agree with that. Hey, guys, thanks so much for tuning in and all the comments. Do me a favor, give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, hit the bell notification or whatever it is they have you do. Those things really help the channel. Again, I'm trying to get to 2,000 subscribers by the beginning of the season, so I really need your help. It only takes a moment. It takes me longer to say it than it does for you to do it. So if you would, hit that thumbs up. feel like the homeless guy down there at the street corner, drinking Mad Dog 2020, begging for $1. So give me my $1. I'm gonna try to, man. I'm trying to keep it as honest and as real as I can. Have a great day, big dog. Going to Po' Boys. You guys have a great day. Run up on about an hour. I think Uncle Lou's got his show premiere starting here in a few minutes. I don't want to run over that because I've been on for an hour. So thanks so much for tuning in. You guys have a great day. We'll be back soon. God bless. Don't forget to share. And go Dogs.